The Democratic governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, has come under fire for signing a bill into law that will allow non-U.S. citizens to become police officers. The law reads, an individual who is not a citizen but is legally authorized to work in the United States under federal law is authorized to apply for the position of police officer, subject to all requirements and limitations other than citizenship. The law would open the pool of potential police officer applicants in the state to permanent residents and DACA recipients who are in this country legally. But many remain against the bill, including the Illinois Fraternal Order of Police, which issued a statement saying, what message does this legislation send when it allows people who do not have legal status to become the enforcers of our laws? This is a potential crisis of confidence in law enforcement at a time when our officers need all the public confidence they can get. Despite the backlash, Governor Pritzker defended the bill.
As usual, the far right is proposing or putting out their false information. They're saying that we're allowing illegal immigrants is the word that they would use. Undocumented immigrants are not allowed to become police officers in the state of Illinois still.
Advocates of the law say that it will help address officer shortages that Illinois, like many states across the country, are facing. The law set to go into effect in January of 2024. Back with us, Elizabeth Vargas, the NewsNation host of Elizabeth Vargas Reports, Scottie, Nell, Hughes, the former Trump campaign surrogate, and Chris Hahn, a former aide to Chuck Schumer and political contributor to NewsNation. Elizabeth, what do you make of this one?
Listen, Illinois has a real shortage of police officers right now, worst it's ever been. So, and I think, this becomes a great political talking point because it's like, oh my God, all these illegal immigrants flooding across the border and sneaking across the border, we're going to slap a badge on their arm and give them a gun and say, go enforce the laws. That isn't quite exactly what it is. These are people who are in the country legally, who have the legal right to work in this country and have yet to earn citizenship because it's a bit of a political football.
Yeah, I'm torn on this one. I tend to be very pro-police. There's a real problem in this country with a shortage of police officers, but there is something bizarre about the idea that a non-citizen will now be arresting citizens. Scottie?
This just shows how bad it is in the state of Illinois, the state of Chicago, a lot thanks to the policies of the mayor and the governor, who I believe will go down as the worst governor in Illinois history. This is speaking as a longtime family resident of Illinois.
Worse than Blagojevich?
Yeah,
believe it or not,
it was pretty bad.
This was about, because at least Blagojevich was personal. This is, this is dealing with the state. But this shows how bad it has gotten. And instead of addressing the policies that have caused for this mass exodus, this lack of recruitment, and the high rise in crime, instead we're just going to bring in other people. And it's pretty desperate when you do have to go to folks who are not legal residents of the country. Illinois is full of some of the greatest people, I do believe, in this country. And if you can't convince them to protect their own state, then there's something wrong.
I think they are
with
legal
the people
residents. They're just not citizens. Right?
But what I'm saying, they're fully legal residents on that side of it.
Chris?
So, look, I used to be the chief deputy county executive in Nassau County, ran a police department, right? I think enthusiasm for the community you live in is a good quality to have in a police officer. And I don't necessarily see citizenship as a requirement of that. I think legal residency should be a requirement. I believe in the legal term of domicile. Where do you feel you live? Where do you feel you are? DACA recipients think they're Americans. They grew up as Americans. Why can't they be police officers, especially if we have a shortage and they are legally required in every other way except for their citizenship? We're not putting illegal immigrants who have just flooded into this country. We're putting people who are being here, who want to be, who are paying taxes, who are working.
Non-citizens. Listen, the answer is to fix immigration. I mean,
exactly.
That's the answer, because these people have been sitting around waiting for decades.
So we always talk about how the lack of actual training of police officers are. What does it say about our country when it's easier to get a police badge and a gun than it is to actually get your citizenship of this country?
It says we should have passed the 2013 Immigration Reform Act that passed the Senate but was never taken up in the House because John Boehner was a wimp. And that's what we should have done.
Another second.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.